Okay, I'm going to do a screen recording, a zoomed-in screen recording on the UFO footage that I captured this morning, October 23rd. Right there, October 23rd, 2025. Recorded on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. In my Photos app here. First of all, go to my Photos app. And then... Okay, before I did a zoomed-in screen recording, look at here. Let me go to a few of the screenshots from this morning, like this one, for example. What was that? Here, look at it. That's enough right there. See, look at how there's like, just like the, a lot of my other video footage. If you really zoom in on it and pause it, and I'll show this on the screen recording. But look how there's like little pieces of it that seem to come off. And go back together again, right? You notice that too?
Yeah.
And also, you see the same thing on my first beach UFO video. Going back to June 2024. And many other of these videos, and of course this video, so look at that. Okay, look at those pieces right down there. That kind of rules out a balloon right there. Also the fact that on October 21st, I'm gonna start documenting the wind every day. I document this, but also on October 21st, it flew against the wind. The wind was blowing from west to east, behind my back to the east. And then this thing ascended and continued to, hey hon, this thing continued to move from east to west against the wind. I don't think a balloon can do that. Oh, okay, it's okay. I'm just going to work on this, and as long as the puppy there is quiet. If I hear a squeal, I'll pick her up. Okay, so anyway, that's here. Go through a few of these screenshots. Right here. Here, so I go through a few of these screenshots I took. See, look at the pieces of it coming off. See how, just like right there. Just like in my first UFO video, you see the pieces of it like breaking off, and they seem to come apart, and they go back together again. Here, go to the next screenshot right there. That's like not even zoomed in. Here, where is it? Where is it? Right there. I see it. You barely see it right there. Here, the thing got blurry, but it's closer than what it looks. That's for sure. On the video, because the camera can not only zoom in, but it can also zoom out too. So that's the first, that's the initial picture. That's actually when it was closer. Okay, right there, that's actually when it was closer. And I notice even when it's closer, I don't see anything dangling below it. It's not zoomed in, but it's still, that's when it was closer, and it still looks the same every time. So flip over to the next one. That's a little bit closer. Well, that's zoomed in a little more, but it's still close. That's when it was still close. See right there, but it's still, and the camera's starting to zoom in right there when I took that screenshot, and still look, you don't see anything dangling below it. That thing keeps fading in and out. It keeps disappearing and reappearing on the video. And yeah, there's that one. Again, same thing. Here, okay, you see like this, for example, I already went over this. You see like how the pieces come off of it, it kind of comes apart, and it goes back together. A lot of the videos I have, they do that, especially the ones at night, especially the golden ones at night. In fact, I recorded another almost golden night orb last night too. So yeah, I recorded another night orb last night. Now, here's the original raw footage, 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Should turn the sound on for a second? Just caught my eye. I had to set my coffee down. It was right there, real low, right there. Right there? All right, the wind is currently blowing north to south. Yeah, it was north to south this morning. East to the piers. And there was a few other wind gusts, a few other different directions. But, yeah, but on October 21st, though, the wind was blowing west to east. And it went against the wind, okay? But anyway, here's the original raw footage. And the sound is cut. See, there's the sound button. Coffee down. was right there, real low, right there. All right, the wind is currently blowing. Go back to the beginning here. Just caught my eye. I had to set my coffee down. I'm gonna cut the sound. Right there, real low, right there. All right, so sound's cut, and you see this is the video I recorded this morning. 06:51, October 23rd. So let's go ahead and zoom in on it, on the actual video itself. Here's back it up. And I'm gonna start off with sound. Just caught my eye. I had to set my coffee down. It was right there, real low, right there. All right, the wind is currently blowing. I'm going to cut the sound now. I saw at least one go fast. Less than 2 minutes into the video. There were at least a few, and there's also a go fast at the very end as well. I still have to watch this whole video for myself. I don't know if I'm going to cut it into a separate segment. Here, where was that last go fast at the end of the video? I'll have to go back and see if maybe I'll watch that part before I conclude and see if I'm gonna cut that into a separate video or not. And there's the one at less than 2 minutes in. I don't think I'm gonna cut that one, but here, now I'm gonna zoom in. There was a couple. I don't know if I'm gonna cut any separate segments out of the video though. Zoom in. There we go. I'm zoomed in. Now look at it. Look how there's like, as it moves, as it spins. Oh, there goes a go fast right there. How far is that? There were a few at the beginning, I guess, that, some of them you could barely see. Back that up a little bit, right where it's zoomed in. Yep, right here. Here, watch it again. There goes one. I think, unless, zoom out a little bit this time. And then make sure that make sure that wasn't a bird or something. There's one bird right there, but it looked like there might have been something else too. Oh no, was that a bird? Or was it something else with the bird? There's a bird. No, it's just a bird. That one was a bird, not a go fast. There is a go fast though at about less than 2 minutes into the video, and there's another good one at the very end for sure. And I thought I saw some other little ones off in the distance too. But nothing, I don't think I'm going to cut into a separate video. How's puppy dog doing? Still sleeping? Huh? Is she still sleeping, huh?
Yeah, they're sleeping.
Okay. See, again, though, I zoom in, and you don't see any kind of lines. Now, I'm, again, recording with an iPhone 16 Pro Max, okay? You see that little thing down at the bottom there. But when I zoom in, even when I zoom in here on the original video, there is nothing, there's no kind of connecting line that I can see. Now, I can understand if it was a balloon, that might not necessarily be visible, with the naked eye, if there was a line here, but I'm recording with a very good camera, okay? And when I zoom in on the original footage, if there was a line there, I should be able to see it. That's not a balloon, bottom line. Again, look. As it spins, look at how it, pieces of it comes off of it, and it all goes back together. Just like that first UFO I got on video on the beach on June 4th, 2024. In fact, that one would do that even more as it would move. But that one didn't just ascend. It moved horizontally. And it moved very fast, too. Extremely fast. And then it would stop on a dime and continue going. It would travel between the islands. Like here, see this map here? I made this map. The first video, the first UFO I got on video on June 4th, 2024 was here. We were standing here on Jomtien Beach, and I've got multiple other beach videos where I show other UFOs as well throughout the past year since then, including recently videos from here on this island, Gatlan, and multiple other videos before that. Back in June, I recorded some videos up here a little bit, where you can from up here you can actually see Ko Si Chang, which is way up further north, not visible in this map. There's another island up further north called Ko Si Chang, but not much further Not much further than this, but you can't see it on this map. But anyway, the first UFO video I recorded back in June 2024, when I first started noticing it was happening. We were standing here on Joneteam Beach, and it started out 21 kilometers. It was over this island, Kolin, this little island here. And at first, it drifted this 13 kilometers here. That's 8.1 miles alone, between the islands alone, plus it went further than that. It went across, you see it on video going all the way across Cramyai. And then it goes back across Cramyai, and it covers the distance really quick. And you see it go all the way back across Cramyai. It stops on a dime right here, and then it keeps going real fast. It keeps going, like, you see it go across Cramyai real fast, and it comes back across, and then it does this distance all the way back here. Okay, so that's 8.1 miles alone right there, plus all the way across Cramyai. That's at least 10 miles one way. And it did that back and forth real quick, seconds to minutes. And the only reason why it was minutes is because it kept stopping and hovering. And then it would move again, and then it would stop on a dime. And then when it came back, it started going further out. This time, I remember on the video, I lost it for a few seconds, and then I would reacquire it. And then eventually, at the end of the video, you see it way out here. Behind these two little islands here, it's like Cramyai and, no, not Cramyai, Kolung Baden, and what was the other one? Kolung Baden, and I forget. Kolung Baden, there's another island out there, I forget what both their names are, but it's like Kolung Baden and not Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi's further north, you can't really see it from here. But you can see, you can barely see Kolung Baden and whatever the other island was, I forgot. And then when we went back back in September, I've got a picture of my wife and I standing on top of the mountain on this island, and you can see these two islands behind us on the picture, including another UFO video out here as well from standing here. But then at the end of the first UFO video, though, and at the very end of the video, you see it way out here off in the distance, kind of hovering, and then it accelerates at the very end of the video, and it shoots this 12 kilometers, further than that even. It was way out here. And it does this distance real fast, and then Gatlan Island is 4 kilometers across alone. So it did all this and across Gatlan within a matter of seconds. Did all that. The 12 kilometers right there, that's 7.5 miles. Plus across Gatlan, that's 4 kilometers. So, yes, 12 kilometers is 7.5 miles, yeah. So that's, 4 kilometers, plus 4 kilometers. So 11, it's like 11 kilometers. More than 11 kilometers, almost 12 kilometers right there alone. Or I'm sorry, miles. I'm adding it up in my head from total. Plus another 4 kilometers across Gatlan, and then it continued to go north towards Koshichang, and then we lost sight of it because I was standing here, and you have this patch of land here, so I couldn't see it go much further beyond Gatlan. I see it go to about here, and then I lost a visual of it after that. But the whole video is like a little over 8 minutes long. So I'm going to make another map like this of my home area, except, I'm going to I'm going to plot the point where we're standing exactly, and then draw a line just like this. I'm shooting a straight line distance azimuth exactly 90 degrees, which is the direction the sphere every morning appears. And then put the straight line distance line 90 degrees. I'm sorry, 90 degrees from where I sit every morning, and about at least 10 kilometers, maybe more, maybe 20 kilometers. And then identify landmarks at like 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and up to like 10 kilometers maybe from where I'm sitting in the morning at our house. Make a different map. And then that way I can look at the map and identify, other areas like maybe a park or something. We can go sit and see it and maybe get closer to it. And maybe I can get a closer shot of the sphere that I get on video every day at home. But the first UFO I got on video was here on Joneteam Beach, and it did all this distance. You see from here to here, and then back from here to back to here, and then to here, and then from out here across here, and it kept going. And I was here. So that was 21 kilometers from where I was standing. And then I could see it, you know, I could still see it up to like more than 23 kilometers away, barely. Once, cause when it got out here, it was a little further away, but you can still see it on the video. And then out here, and then when it came across Gatlan, that's when it was closest. That's when it was within 10 kilometers of me, or even less. About probably 8 to 10 kilometers away from me, so about 5 to 6 miles after it covered Gatlan and continued heading north. So I'm going to get another map like that made, and I'm going to plot the direction. I'm going to get the exact azimuth from our house, where it appears every morning, and shoot an azimuth exactly 90 degrees, and have it point like maybe up to 20 kilometers out, and then I will identify landmarks on the map. So let me start over here. Photos app on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. Okay, October 23rd. Photos app. And again, the original raw footage here. Yeah. It was right there real low, right there. I'm gonna cut the sound. Let me zoom in on that. Here, focus on the object itself, just the main object, and there's other things sometimes, right? You can't see it yet. It'll start to appear there. There it is, now you see it. Here, you're zooming out from a very low altitude again, from where it first started. Right there. So you don't see it yet, and that's when it's closest. Even after the camera starts to zoom in on it, you don't see that thing below it yet, until it starts to get a little higher up. Or what's this? Get out of the way. YouTube notification. Here, back up again. Here, try that again. The video is already getting kind of long now. Right there, zoom in. Oh, man. Okay, same video, 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, the sound is cut. That's from this morning. It was right there real low, right there. Okay, that was at 06:15 today. All right, let's try that again. I'm gonna keep the sound cut. And now let's go ahead and zoom in on that right away. So you can see, I don't see that thing below it now. And that's when it's closest. And even as the camera starts zooming in right there, when it's still close, you still don't see that thing yet below it. And that's when it's closer. If there's something hanging below it, I should be able to see that better. Right there when it's closer. But I don't see it at all. Still don't see it. Now you're starting to see it right there. There, it just appeared. There, yep. I think the camera caught that. Hang on. I think just now I showed that. Let me zoom out a little bit. Show that again. Right there at about almost 30 seconds in the video. There's a spot on the camera now. Okay. So, see, you don't see it yet. You don't see it yet. You see, I just showed you right there where it appeared. That was a bird there. Hang on. Was that it appearing? Hang on. Yeah, I think you can see. Yep, you can start to see it now. Here, take that back a little bit. Once again. Right here, 16 seconds. Watch it. I'm zoomed in. There it is. Hang on, before that even. Here, once again, go back to the beginning. When does that thing appear? All right, zoom in. See, not yet, that's for sure. And that's when it's closest. And you don't see it yet. It's still close. Still don't see it. Here, still don't see it. Let me keep the camera on it. So you can see when there, it's starting to appear. There it is. There it is. You see it start to appear there. And there's nothing connecting it. I think that proves it right there. I zoomed in on it. Yep. Definitely not a balloon. No way possible. There's nothing connecting. You can still barely see it. And now it's getting further away, and now it's starting to appear. And it's like that every morning, no matter how cloudy it is or how clear the sky is. And I've zoomed in on other videos too where it was clear. And it does the same exact thing. Now you can barely see it. And yet again, still nothing connects the two objects. And at the very beginning, when it was closest, and I zoomed in on it, you couldn't see it at all. I just went back and showed it a few times. I don't think I need to do it again. I'm going to conclude here soon. Now look at that. Right there, look at that thing up close. Look at all the particles spinning around it, how they come off of it, and it all goes back together again, just like that first UFO I got on video. Back in June. And many others, too, of this same thing that I record almost every day. And again, this is not all I get on video. This is not the only object I have either. See, look at all the particles. Look at all the spinning particles around it. That's not a balloon. There's no way. See how all the little particles come off of it? And they go back together again. Now look at that thing. You can see that thing below it a little clearer now. And it's even further away. But again, what's connecting it? I'm zoomed in as tight as I can. There's nothing connecting the two things, those two objects. And again, at the beginning of the video, when it was closest, you don't see that thing at all. Where was it? Why did it just suddenly appear there? Oops. Here, again, I was about to go back to the beginning anyway and show that one more time. Right there, right, this part right here. Like, where's the thing hanging from it now? There it is. You're starting to barely see it slowly appear. Here, go back. You're starting to just as it appears, you slowly start to see it appear, but it's not as visible when it's closest. So like right here where it's closest, you don't see it. Right there. Now you're starting to see it slowly appear there. There it is. See, now you're starting to see it. But that thing below it, when it's closer, you don't even see even when you should be able, if that were a balloon, whatever that is below it, you should be able to see that even better when it's closer and I'm zoomed in on it with an iPhone 16 Pro Max camera. But you can't, because it's obviously not a balloon. I mean, look. Again, what's connecting it? Nothing. Also, look at the object itself. Look at its spin. Look at the particles coming off on and off of it. Look at it's almost like it comes apart and goes back together again real quick as it's spinning. What's that? Look at the way that thing spins. And again, I'll go over the screenshots again too before I conclude. So now you can see that thing below it even better now. As it gets higher. As it gets up higher altitude. But at a low altitude, when it's at a low altitude, you don't see that thing at all. I need to make, that's an important note right there. When it's at a low altitude, when the sphere is at a low altitude, whatever that is below it, you don't see it at all. And not until it gets up to altitude. Not until it gets up high. And then you see it. Should I rewind that and show it again, or have I done it enough already? Was that visible enough? Maybe I'll do it one more time before I cut. But look at the thing before I rewind it again. Look at it when it starts to become visible more as it gets further away. And I'm zoomed in on it with an iPhone 16 Pro Max. So I should have been able to see that from the very beginning. If that was a piece of earthly equipment, I should have been able to see that thing at the bottom from the very beginning when it first appeared, but you don't always see it. Even when the day's clear with no clouds at all It always behaves the same way. And also it behaves the same way regardless of wind resistance as well. Okay, when I got the last one on video on October 21st, it was going directly into the wind. And it continued on the same path. And again, look at all the particles spinning around it. And compare that to all my other videos, particularly the first one I got on video on the beach. And zoom in on that. All right, now it's getting more distant. Here, before I conclude, one more time. Here, how far are we in? Okay, about 3 minutes in. Okay. And again, if you're watching it from YouTube, you can zoom in on it for yourself. How's puppy dog, huh?
Huh?
How's puppy dog?
He's quiet.
Quiet? Is he sleeping?
Yeah,
Still?
he,
All right.
oh, and he look,
Yeah?
he head up and look at me.
Okay. Let me, oops, I'm there. Let me zoom in up, starting right now. I need to zoom in up just as it becomes visible here, right here, right there. See, look, is there anything below it? As I'm zoomed in on it right now, you don't see anything below it. There's nothing below it yet. There it is. Now it's starting to appear. Look at it as it gets further away. Now, you show that again one more time. Wow, yeah, I got it right. Yeah, that's definitely no balloon. Impossible. Again, what are all those little particles spinning around it so fast, and they keep coming off of it and going back together with it again? Oh, here, I didn't zoom in fast enough. Okay, if that video right there. I hear him squealing a little bit. I'm going to conclude here and hold the puppy here. Yep, see, but again, I'm zoomed in on it when it's still close. You don't see it yet. Now you're starting to see it appear. Look, right there. Now you're slowly starting to see it appear. Sorry. I'm waking up the dog. Right there right before 30 seconds. Play it again. Okay, I was zoomed in on that pretty good that time. You don't see it at all right now. And that's when it's closest. I should be seeing that thing right now below it. See, you still don't see it. Keep watching it, keep watching it. There it goes. There it goes. It's starting to appear. There it goes. Now it's starting to appear. See, after it's getting further away and higher up. And then suddenly you see it. And the higher up it gets, then suddenly the more you see that thing below it. And again, look at all the pieces coming off and on it. Oops. And I messed up. Hang on. I fixed it. Okay. Again, look at all the little pieces. How it's like it comes apart and goes back together again. Here. Let me take a shot. Shall I take a screenshot of that right there? What is that? All right, I just took a screenshot of that. Okay, I'm going to go and conclude the video here in a second. Okay, again, that was this morning it's my original raw photos this morning at 06:51, and now it's 9:43. 3 hours later almost. It's been almost 3 hours. So exit out of that one. And now, go to this last picture I took. And the last screenshot you just saw me take. And really zoom in on that. Okay, and again, look at all the particles that seem to be separating from it and going back together. So you look at it in that frame. Now look at it in that. Here's a different frame. Oops. Here, there's a different frame. That's the same object. That's from also from today. I took that screenshot today at 7:06 when I was still outside. I took this screenshot today also at 7:06 while I was still outside. Again, screenshot today, 7:06. That's a different frame. Again, look at it. Look at all those things. What are all those things coming off of it and on it and going back together with it again? Okay, if that were a balloon, it wouldn't look like that. It would be all, if it were a balloon, number one, it would not be traversing against the wind. And number two, it would be all in one piece. Okay, this object is not always all in one piece. It sometimes pieces of it come apart and it goes back together. And it also sometimes looks like solid metal. Look at all my video footage for the past year. That is clearly, I'd say pretty clearly not a balloon. The more I analyze it objectively and look at all the, look at everything I have on video here. But here's another frame right here. I also took this screenshot today at 7:04, a few minutes earlier before this one. This one I took that I was just looking at, that was at 7:05. And then 7:04, this one. That's a different frame. And each frame, you notice how it looks slightly different. And the pieces that are separating from it, because it's moving really fast. Here's another frame that I took this one at 7:04. See, look now in that frame there, it looks more solid. It looks more like it's all in one piece, one solid metallic object. In that frame right there, look at that. I'd say this proves it right here. I mean, I know what I've experienced, and this is not the only thing I have on video. I've had close encounters. I've had contact with them. Okay, like this one right here, it all seems to be in one piece. One solid metallic object in that picture, in that specific frame of the picture. That's the same object. Is that the video? Okay, no, that's not zoomed in. That's when it first appeared before I started zooming in. Right there, see? That's right when it first appeared, right before I started zooming in with the camera. So, got that one, and then here's this one. That's like the first shot I took before I zoomed in, right when it first appeared, before I started zooming in on it at all, and there it is right there. That was right just as I was zooming in on it. It's actually a really small object. In the last screenshot right here, zoom in on that. Again, same thing. You also see pieces of it coming off. As it spins, it's spinning as it moves. And as it's spinning, these little pieces are coming off of it, and then they're going back together with it, like this picture right here, for example. Particularly down here, it looks a little bit different in every separate different frame, like this one. It looks slightly different, but also same thing. As it spins, you see the particles like they come off, they go back together again. And compare that to the first video I have. Look at the zoomed in shots I took of it. Okay, look at the zoomed in shots I took of the first one I got on video back in June last year. Okay, because it's very similar. The way it comes apart and it goes back together again, totally ruling out the possibility of that being a balloon. You hear that?
That door, man.
Shh. Is that the TV or is that her talking?
They're talking.
See, there it is. You look at how it spins, and look how it spins, and then you see those like I showed in the screenshots, those little particles coming off of it. It's like it comes apart and it goes back together again. I've got other videos too from earlier this year showing the ones at night. They're even trippier, the way they do that. They will totally change shapes too. A lot more than this one. The night ones will change, like sometimes, especially the ones from earlier this year that I got on video, they change shapes a lot more than this. But this one, it's not really changing shapes, but it's that much. It does slightly as it moves, look at it. But it's mainly, look, Look how fast it's spinning. And again, look at the particles coming off of it and then going back together again with it. And then sometimes, like right there, it looks like solid metal. And then you see more stuff coming off again. See that? And compare that to all my other video footage. I can't go through all of it right now. But I've done videos like this before, though. Showing it up close. And again, look at all the spinning particles. How it kind of comes apart and goes back together again. And then also look at some zoomed in. Should I go over one of those before I conclude? Like the very first video I ever got. I'm trying to find it without showing everything in my personal photos app here. I'm trying to find it without showing every single one of my personal photos here. I'm flipping through here. Should be a little further back here. Here, I think I just saw it. Here we go. Some of these right here. Yeah, let me find a video where I really got a good zoomed in shot, where I can show it moving real quick and show you how it does that. Particularly like the end of the video. I'm trying to pick one where you can see where I really showed the ending of it. No, that one, but it's not. That one's not. I don't think I zoomed in on this one that much, but you can still see it. Maybe that video, or where's a better one? I'm talking about this object right there in that screenshot. That was the very first one I got on video back in June last year. And that was taken, if I would have had this iPhone 16, if I would have had this iPhone back then, ooh, that would have been a much, much better video. All I was using was an iPhone 16 XE at the time. Here's a good one that kind of shows it pretty good. Screenshot. Right there. Cut the sound. See, like similar to that one, how it kind of comes apart and then it goes back together again. That's the first one I got on video right there. See how it kind of comes apart and goes back together again? There it is at the end. There it is at the very end of the video. See, it kind of spins in a similar way. I think that's a similar object, or it may be the same thing, but it's not ascending, it's moving sideways and it's changing shapes. See, like, look how it changes shapes. And you see all those little particles, they almost kind of looks like dust spinning off of it and going back together with it again, just like the one I got on video today and almost every other day. Every day. So, should I show more than that? Or was that enough? Where, like right here, show this one, this short clip of it, right here. That's right there as it goes across Gatlan Island. That was the first one I got on video. Just show the beginning of that again. Here, again, so you can really see it as it's going across Gatlan. Right there. I'm going to zoom out on that. And now, oh, I messed it up. There, flip it again. Okay, now watch this as it goes. Oh, where'd it go?
What?
Hang on, I'm trying to get this done right here. Okay, now, here. All right, here we go. There it is over Gatlan. Now hit play. There, that's it going there. I had to get up and walk around all these people to continue recording it that were kind of crowding in front of me. And then look at it. I pause it right there. Look how it changes shapes. Watch this. This demonstrates a little more on how it changes shapes. And it's kind of similar to what the video I got today. Well, not exactly like it, but This one's doing something a little different. Okay, so I could show even more than that. The whole video from that day is like 8 minutes long, 8.5 minutes long. That it was visible for about 8.5 minutes that day. Okay, I'm still in my Photos app here. Still in my Photos app. And then again, this footage from this morning. 06:51 this morning. It was right there, real low, right there. All right, the wind is currently blowing. I'm gonna cut the sound. Now, again, zoom in on it. If you keep watching and watch the other sphere videos I have, and you can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can zoom in on it yourself and look at how it spins like that. Just like the first one on the beach was spinning. And then look at the particles as it kind of comes. It's not changing shapes as much as the one on the beach. It stays typically spherical. But sometimes they'll change shapes a lot more than that, the go fast ones. Again, like the one on the beach. But this one, you see it spinning in a similar manner. And you see the particles coming off and on and off of it. Coming off of it and then going back together with it in a very similar fashion as the one on the beach. See, again, if that were a balloon, it would stay in one piece. And you wouldn't see all those little particles going off of it and then going back together with it again. Like right there. Yeah, it looks very, very ghostly too. You can always tell. They'll look like apparitions. Yeah, that doesn't even look man-made. Okay, anyway, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and conclude. So zoom out. Okay, that was this morning, 06:51. That's my original raw footage. The original video is 11 minutes and 7 seconds. And I already went over the screenshots like this one. Again, look at that. Before I conclude, look at that. Okay, look at how it comes apart, and all the pieces go back together with it again. So anyway, that's it. In my Photos app on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. That's it, thank you. Oh, and one thing I forgot to show at the very end of the video I meant to show. Here, I'm going to splice this in at the end. Okay, original footage 11:07. Recorded this morning at 06:51. Again, sound. The wind is currently blowing. You cut the sound there, and then now fast forward it here to 6:30 right here. Take it back to 6:23. You see it skirts below some really low clouds. Like really low clouds, it skirts below them for a long time. I've got so many videos showing it do that. There goes another go fast right there. Yep. I'm coming back, puppy. Hang on. I'm going to try to pause it on there. Yeah, right there. I see it. Oops. Right there, 6:29 or 6:30. So many video. Right there, got it. I caught a screenshot, a still shot of it. You can barely see it. Yeah, I'm probably not going to cut that into. Should I cut that into a separate clip? Here, I'll take a screenshot of it right now. Let me zoom out on that. I might cut that into a separate clip. I don't know. Take that back to 6:29. Let me see. Should I cut that into a separate clip? Showing it do that. There goes another go fast right there. All right. For a long time, I've got so many videos showing it do that. There goes another go fast right there. I don't know. I'll think about it. I might cut that out into a separate clip. There's one at the beginning too. Okay. 1 second. All right, that's it.